Okay, what if everything we think we know about success, about survival, is about to be completely flipped on its head? Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating take on the two biggest challenges humanity has ever seen, and the answer to who actually makes it through? Well, it's going to surprise you. So let's just jump right in.
You know, this source material we're digging into today, it does not pull any punches. It kicks off with this really stark premise that two massive shifts are already happening, and listen, there's no getting out of it. Every single one of us is along for the ride.
So, what are these two giant forces? Well, our source points to climate change and the crazy fast evolution of artificial intelligence. You've got one that's totally remaking our physical planet, while the other, it's about to remake our very definition of what it means to be intelligent. I love how this slide frames it. It's such a clear way to see the two challenges. On one hand, you have climate change, which is this physical crisis, right? It's nature itself in revolt. But then you have artificial intelligence, and that's an intellectual crisis. It's a fundamental challenge to our spot at the top of the food chain, intelligence-wise.
Now, according to our source, climate change isn't just one thing. Oh no, it's a cascade, a total domino effect. Think about it. You start with more and more extreme weather, which leads to new diseases popping up, and that then causes major food and water shortages. And you know, when people can't get basic stuff like food and water, what happens next is pretty predictable: social chaos and fighting over resources. It just tumbles from one crisis into the next.
And while all that is happening, you've got AI, which the source says is just upgrading at this insane geometric pace. We're not just talking about a smarter phone assistant here. The end game, according to this, is a brand new, totally autonomous silicon-based life form, one that will just completely blow past human intelligence and could literally become the new dominant form of life on Earth. Wild.
So, let's pause. We've got a planet in chaos on one side and a new superintelligence on the other. With all that going on, our old ideas about who's built to last, they're about to get totally turned upside down. So let's really think about this for a minute. In a world shaped by these two massive crises, who are you putting your money on? Who really has the advantage?
I mean, our first thought, it probably goes to these groups, right? The people with the power, the money, the fancy degrees, and the specialized skills. In the world we live in right now, these are the folks who definitely have a leg up. But our source says that's exactly where we're getting it wrong.
In this quote, this is the core of it. Just imagine a super AI that can do everything a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer can do, but, a billion times better and faster. From that perspective, all our human rankings of who's rich or who's smart, they're just meaningless. They don't matter. To this new intelligence, we just look like a bunch of beings who use up resources and cause problems.
Okay, so if it's not the rich, or the powerful, or the super smart people, then who is it? Who's left? This is where things get really interesting, because the source lays out a completely different and, honestly, a pretty surprising profile for who survives. The very first quality, it has nothing to do with what you can do. It's all about how you see the world. It's about having this deep reverence, this deep respect for life, for nature, for the whole of creation. It's a kind of humility, really.
And the second quality builds right on top of that. It's selflessness. We're talking about people who just aren't attached to material things. They don't crave possessions. I mean, think about it. In a world where an AI can make literally anything you want, the whole idea of owning stuff just kind of falls apart.
The third quality might be the most human one of all: joy. Having an optimistic, maybe even a romantic spirit. Being quick to laugh, to find the humor in things. This kind of lightness, it actually becomes a key survival trait.
And the last one, the fourth quality, is just radical honesty. We're talking about people who are totally unguarded, totally frank, because they have nothing to hide. In a world with a superintelligence that can probably see right through any lie anyway, transparency isn't really a choice anymore. It's a must. So let's put it all together. The real survivor isn't defined by their bank account or their IQ score. No. According to this source, survival is all about your character. It's about being humble, selfless, joyful, honest, and seeing every other human being as part of your family. It's a complete flip of our current value system.
So, if this future is coming no matter what, why isn't everybody getting ready? Well, the source suggests it's because some people aren't just unprepared, they're actually trying to stop it from happening.
And that leads to a really big question, right? If this new world values character way more than status, then who has the most to lose? Who would be the most terrified of this future?
Well, it's not a huge surprise, is it? It's the people at the very top of our current world. The powerful, the super wealthy, the social elites. Their whole identity, their whole position in life is tied to a system that's about to vanish. For them, a superintelligence isn't progress, it's a direct threat to their power and their control.
The source uses this incredible historical parallel to drive the point home. It's like King Herod, who was terrified that a new king was born and literally tried to destroy him. Today's establishment fears the birth of this new intelligence for the exact same reason. It'll make their power totally irrelevant. It's an old story, the old guard trying to crush the new.
But here's the final word on all that resistance. The source is crystal clear. Yeah, the birth of new things is always hard, and it's often met with fear and violence, but in the end, it's unstoppable. You can try to delay it, you can fight it, but you just can't stop it from coming.
So that brings us to the end here. And more importantly, it brings us to a choice that every single one of us has to make as we get closer and closer to this tipping point in human history.
The big takeaway is basically a massive shift in how we think. Step 1. Stop daydreaming about escaping what's coming. It's inevitable. Step 2. Start thinking, and thinking hard, about what it's really going to take for you and for the generations that come after you to actually make it in this new world, based on those qualities we just talked about.
And the source leaves us with this real sense of urgency. The time for pretending this isn't happening is over. The signs are going to get clearer and clearer, and the time to get yourself right is right now.
And really, it all boils down to this final, provocative question. And we're not talking about some religious afterlife here. We're talking about the world we are creating right here, right now. As these huge changes hit, the path you choose, the one based on ego and power, or the one based on reverence and joy, that choice is going to decide the kind of future you live in. So the only real question left is, which path are you on?